Miss Elisa with St. Mary's County Library, and welcome back to another Pint-Sized Playtime. Today's Pint-Sized Playtime is all about winter sensory activities. As usual, these activities may get a little messy, so I do recommend either doing them outside if that's possible, doing them in a garage, laying down a tarp in a kitchen, or just being prepared for a little bit of cleanup at the end. Most of these activities are for babies and toddlers, some are for older children, but all of them will give your child the ability to experiment, do something a little different, and learn from their play. First up, we're going to be making some fake snow. As you know, St. Mary's County has not gotten a lot of snow this season, but that is not a problem because we can make some of our own. For this, you are going to need shaving cream and baking soda and a bin or a tub to put it in. You're going to mix 1 part baking soda to 1 part shaving cream. My measurements were a little off here, so I ended up having way too much shaving cream and had to add more baking soda to the mix. You're going to mix them together and then add some water until it becomes kind of a snow consistency. It won't be perfect, it's going to be a little gritty, but it should be packable and have the idea of snow. You can also add more baking soda if you added too much shaving cream, like I did. I would highly recommend letting this sit for an hour or so because it does become more snow-like as it dries out. So this is a great sensory activity. It is completely non-toxic, so it's totally okay if your child tastes it, but because it's baking soda and shaving cream, they're not going to want to continue to taste it. So that's a great component of this. This is just fun to pack into snowballs, squish between your fingers. It's just a really fun, different sensory activity for your child so that they can feel different textures, compare and contrast, and learn through play. Our next activity I actually use the fake snow for, but you can also just use regular old shaving cream if you'd like. This is the Melting Snowman sensory bin. So for this, you either need, like I said, the fake snow or some shaving cream. Put it in a bin, then add buttons, googly eyes. I also use some orange and black construction paper to cut out a carrot and a top hat. And then you can place them in the arrangement of a melted snowman. So this is really fun, but we also added ping pong balls. This way you can actually pack the fake snow or the shaving cream around the ping pong balls and make your own little snowballs. The fake snow actually does let the ping pong balls sit on top of each other, so you can actually build a little ping pong ball fake snowman. And this is just a fun little activity because you have lots of different textures. When the paper gets kind of wet and mushy, you have the buttons, the googly eyes, and then the ping pong balls all within the fake snow or shaving cream. So it's a really fun, different sensory activity that feels pretty different than anything else, even real snow. It feels really nothing like real snow, but it's a fun thing to pretend. Going along with that, I also used the fake snow for my third sensory bin. This is the winter-themed sensory bin. So in the fall, I encouraged you to pick out things for your fall sensory bin. I told you to get different colored leaves, different things that you see in nature during fall, and I'm going to encourage you to do that again. This can be a much shorter nature walk as it is much colder out, and you may not find too many things that scream winter, but go on the walk, grab some things that you see, maybe some pine cones, maybe some dead leaves, anything that really encompasses winter. You can also add some ice cubes to the sensory bin to kind of represent how it's cold. And then from there, you can really just add anything that's white and blue. So that's kind of the color theme for this sensory bin, kind of cold colors. So I added cotton balls, some blue pom-poms. Last winter, the library had some 3D printed snowflakes they used for a display, so I borrowed those to use in the sensory bin. If you have some snowflake toys or ornaments or stickers, anything like that, you can throw in. Anything that's wintry can go in the sensory bin. I added some blue yarn, which just adds another texture. Anything that kind of ties in the theme of winter, but is also different textures, is great for the sensory bin because you really want your child to get that contrast, to kind of learn and then be able to play in the fake snow and see how whatever you put in there changes when they feel it through the fake snow. Moving on from the fake snow, we have ice towers. So for this, you are going to need different containers. So you can actually get ice cube trays. I would suggest using those because they do make square ice cubes, which are better for building towers with. You can also use small cups, small bowls, anything you really have. Just fill them up with water. You can add some food coloring if you'd like, and then freeze them overnight. To get them out of your containers, you can either just let them sit in the sun for a little bit and melt just a little bit so they'll slip easily from the container, or run them under hot water. Either way works. You actually do want them a little bit warmed up, that way that they can stick to each other a little bit better. You're going to put all of your ice components or ice building supplies into a bin, and then you're going to take some warm water and salt and build ice towers. So using salt and some warm water, you can get the ice to meld together and build your ice tower. Unfortunately, I dropped some of my ice tower building supplies, so I was left with a less impressive tower, but this is a really fun activity to do with younger and older kids because you're getting that fun temperature play with the ice cubes and the colorful ice building supplies, but you're also kind of playing around with what the salt and the water does to the frozen ice cubes, and it's just fun to build with ice. Like, you can build your own little igloo if you want. This is a really fun sensory activity because it's probably not something that you do every day, so it's a great learning experience for your child. Last up, we have window snowmen. So for this, you're going to get some press and seal or contact paper, and you're going to put it on a window. From there, you're going to take some cotton balls, some Q-tips, cut some Q-tips in half, maybe use some yarn, and you're gonna build snowmen with your cotton balls. So you can do that by just stacking 3 cotton balls on top of each other and, adding a yarn scarf. You can also have your child pull apart the cotton ball and put it onto the press and seal and make a snowman that way. You can use the Q-tips for arms. You can also make snowflakes with the Q-tips. What's really fun with this is because the contact paper or press and seal is sticky, it changes the texture of the cotton ball as you play because some of the cotton ball gets left behind. So there's a lot of textures at play here. So it's a really fun activity for your kid to do. It's way less messy because there's not a lot of like paint or ice or fake snow involved. And cleanup's really easy because you can just fold the press and seal in half and throw it all away. I loved this. I had a lot of fun. I am an adult and I had a lot of fun doing this. This is just really nice because though we haven't had any snow this year, you can build some snowmen. You don't have to go outside and get cold, but you can still encourage your child to be artistic, to try different ways of building that snowman, making that snowman. What happens if I pull it apart? What happens if I, keep it together? What happens if I add yarn? What happens if I use this Q-tip to do this? There's a lot of experimentation available in this activity, but it's also just a lot of fun and has a lot of different textures going on, which is absolutely great for sensory play. So those are all of my winter sensory activity ideas. If you happen to recreate any of these activities, please take pictures and videos and tag the library in them. We would love to see them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all again next month with more sensory activity ideas. Bye!